If you want more likes and comments on your church's social media posts, well then this video is for you, because over the next few minutes, I'll be sharing with you 15 super high engaging social posts for your church. Nothing hypothetical here. Instead, exact examples real churches are using to boost their engagement online in massive ways.
Well, hey there, and welcome to Pro Church Tools, the show where in 10 minutes or less, you're going to get a dose of tips and tactics to help your church share the message of Jesus while we navigate the biggest communication shift in 500 years. I'm your host, Alex Mills, joined as always by the boss man, Brady Shearer.
A question I see a lot online, Alex, is churches asking, hey, what's a high engaging post I can use on social media? So we're going to answer that question in this episode. We've got 15 of our best performing posts ever.
You know, Bray, we're kind of in the middle of like a social post breakdown kind of week. We've been talking about all kinds of examples of social posts that we use in our social program, but also strategy that any church can kind of, replicate and use on their own. In the last two episodes, we talked about certain types of posts that provoke spiritual practice, specifically a long form Bible reading post, and then like a 60-second countdown for prayer or some other sort of spiritual practice. And pizza is not related to those, but it is one of my favorite foods. And I was thinking about these posts and thinking about how these posts that promote spiritual practice are kind of like the base of any good pizza, right? It's like the sauce, whether it's tomato sauce or olive oil, whatever kind of pizza you like. But you can't really have pizza without sauce. And so those kind of posts kind of act to me as the building block of any good pizza, the sauce, the one thing that you can't have pizza without. But these posts that we're going to talk about today, these engaging posts, maybe some elimination games or, some posts that honestly some people online describe as frivolous, which we don't think they are, because to me, they're like the toppings on pizza. Sure, you could have a pizza with no toppings, but that wouldn't be any fun, right? So you put like pepperoni on there, hot peppers, anchovies if you're an animal, pineapple if you want to unsubscribe to this channel right now, if you put pineapple on your pizza. But these kinds of posts are the toppings. They're the fun and they're interchangeable. You can mess around with them. You can play with them. If you're a vegetarian, you can only have these kinds of engaging posts. But that's what these posts kind of are to me, and that's how we think they fit into a larger social strategy.
We're also giving you carte blanche to steal any of these posts from us because we try to be generous with social. High engaging posts like these are so important for spiking likes and comments so that the algorithms of social will distribute your other less candy-like posts.
Right.
Because a lot of the times, Alejandro Reyes, a buddy of mine, uses this analogy. He calls it the chocolate-covered carrot. It does not exist in real life, but it's the perfect example. You want the person to eat the carrot, but we're humans and we want the candy.
Yeah.
Put the candy on the carrot and you got him.
These posts are the cherry on top.
Example number 1, the gumball guessing game. Winning motivates people.
Of course.
People want to win things. If you do a guessing game like this, we highly recommend that you pair it with a giveaway. Guess the closest, without going over or under whatever that rule is, of the gumballs in the gumball machine and get a $25 gift card to favorite Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, local restaurant.
Exactly. Well, any type of guessing game. We use gumballs in this. We've done mustard seeds. You could use coffee beans, whatever. These posts garner huge responses.
Yeah.
Example number 2, elimination. We've talked about this before, and we'll share a couple of different examples here. This example you're seeing now is a fun one. It's like, what would you prefer? You can only choose one. 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. Your house cleans itself. Your kids eat everything without complaining. Thank you, Lord. Someone runs all your errands for you. You can only choose one. Which one are you choosing, Alex?
It's got to be. I don't even have kids, and I know it has to be the kids eating without complaining.
I'm going to opt out. I'm not going to answer. Another elimination. This framework we've applied in a number of different ways. We did this seasonally around Christmas. We talked about, what's the best Christmas song ever? Oh Holy Night, Away in a Manger, Joy to the World, Silent Night. We talked about this before. Oh Holy Night. It's like not a discussion.
Not even a contest.
A lot of people screw this post up. So here are a couple of things to make sure you get it right. If you want responses on high engaging posts, you need to make it irresistible to answer. So a lot of times people will ask open-ended questions and they'll be like, no one's responding. Yes, because you made it too difficult to answer. So with these posts, we only give 4 options or 2 options. And then we say, which of these 4 or 2 would you choose from? So it's so easy to answer. We take it one step further. We give each a number or a letter and we say, respond with the letter. So you don't even have to type out the full answer, just like, oh, holy night, letter A. And the other part of this equation that makes the elimination post go is to Present a question where someone can have a strong opinion that is inconsequential in the real world. If you value Oh Holy Night is the best Christmas song, no one really is going to get that upset about anything serious.
Right.
They might have faux outrage, which is great for social,
fun, yeah.
and it's great for spurring conversation in the lobby that a social post sparks during the week.
Oh, we see that happen all the time. These conversations spill over from, Wednesday night when this post went live to Sunday morning when I seen people at church are saying, "Are you kidding me? You think this song's the best?" And it happens all the time.
But if you say, "Are you a Democrat or Republican?" that will carry over in a bad way.
That'd be fine in a new church.
We've done that with 2 examples instead of 4. We've said, okay, elimination. Where would you live for the rest of your life? You can only choose one, country or city. Again, I'm opting out. Don't want to answer that. We've done it. Where would you rather vacation, beach or mountains? I will opt in beach for me.
Mountains for me.
Wow, okay. Learning a lot about you today. We've also done this and seen great results. So what's important about these posts is that they are super high engaging. One example of this, you're seeing a screenshot now, is a church that got 70 comments on their elimination post. They reached out to me. They're like, we've never had this many comments on any post ever. And this is important to recognize. You'll probably look at these posts and be like, I thought our church loved the Lord. Why are they responding so much to these gimmicky, frivolous posts? And then we asked them like, hey, here's a Bible reading template. And they're like, boss, keep scrolling.
Yeah, 2 likes.
That's just the way people are.
The post got reported.
Your church blocked you. Your congregation blocked you. That's just how it is. And that's why we are not the type of people to say, hey, you don't need these types of posts. No, they're important. They're part of an overall strategy. Maybe your pastor uses humor in his sermon or her sermon. Why do they do that? They do that because it's a great communication tactic so that people are listening and paying attention so they can hear the deeper part later.
Exactly.
You wouldn't say don't use humor. You recognize it's part of an overall holistic approach. That's the same with these high engaging posts. Let's keep it going. Number 6, we call this the emoji Bible story template, where basically the question is, hey, we've depicted a Bible story using only emojis. You've got to guess. The trouble with these is that you can't make them so obvious or so difficult that you can't answer.
Right.
So you got to find the sweet spot between like, okay, obviously that is this versus, okay, is that like Matthew begot Timothy begot. Okay, obviously Matthew was not Timothy's dad, okay? But still. Okay, number 7, the toilet paper over or under debate. We all know the right answer, but this one works extremely well. You're like, hey, which way should the toilet paper go? People lose their mind in the comments. Describe your pastor using only emojis. We have found
this one's dangerous.
Posts that single out the pastor are insanely successful. People love it. So it's like, hey, how would you describe your pastor? And then everyone's like, oh, finally, I'm going to show him. But in a fun, loving way.
And then get your pastor involved, get him to slide into the comments, see what people have to say.
Exactly. We've also begun using national days of the year or world days of the year. Use these pretty sparingly, and when they have some type of like connection or harmless element to them. So World Sleep Day, we ask like, how many hours of sleep a day do you get? And then we talk about, hey, here's a great sleep app that we love. Or National Cereal Day. What's the best cereal? What's the worst cereal?
We tried to have that conversation this week in the office, and it did not go well.
Half the team quit. They don't work here anymore because they would not agree that the worst cereal is Raisin Bran.
Yes.
I
know. We have the same answer.
If you get in the comments on this video and tell me some other cereal is not, I'm not going to hear it. I'm not going to take it. And this is a perfect example of why these posts are great.
Exactly.
Faux outrage. Number 11, if you could have coffee with one person from the Bible, not Jesus, who would it be?
Oh, that's a great one.
That is an upcoming post from the March social program. These last few are all coming in March, so we don't have designs for them yet, but the ideas still exist.
Yeah.
We also have done How Can We Pray For You this week. That's an obvious one that people still love. And I also like adding there like DM if you need privacy.
Yeah.
Like you can add it in the comments if you want, but feel free to direct
just open that
message us.
channel. Yeah.
And that's also a great way to also stoke the fire of helping people understand you can send us direct messages. That's an okay to a way to communicate
we're
with
here.
us.
There's somebody on the other side of this.
Why did you start attending our church and why did you come back?
Free food, free coffee.
Number 14. We've begun experimenting with memes.
Oh, no.
This one is called the meme Hungry for Righteousness, where Jesus says, blessed are those who hunger for righteousness. And then me, Pac-Man, endlessly eating. The great thing about a GIF is that it loops endlessly, and that's where the humorous element comes in here. I feel like explaining memes kind of defeats the purpose, but if you're listening and can't see this, it is necessary. One more tip for all of these high engaging posts. This is just a pro tip that you can use. You want people to comment, right? what you should do in the caption is say, find our answer in the comments.
Right.
So if you have the cereal post, for example, what's the best cereal and what's the worst cereal? Here, Pastor Earl's response in the comments. Now, everyone needs to know what Pastor Earl thinks about Raisin Bran. And Pastor Earl is a smart man.
Right.
And he knows that Raisin Bran is not the food for a smart man.
Now, I know that it's safe to continue going to Pastor Earl's church.
Exactly. All because of his cereal preferences. But seriously, that's a great call to action. It makes more people open the comments, which makes them more likely to leave a comment. And again, that's great for stopping the scroll. It's great for encouraging spiritual, no, it's not great for encouraging spiritual practice. There's nothing spiritual about this. It's great for starting meaningful conversations.
Yeah.
You might think, well, these aren't meaningful, but fun conversations are meaningful.
Absolutely.
They build rapport. We've seen this happen where somebody had nothing in common with someone else in a church, and they know them, they recognize them, they see them, but it's like they don't really know them. They both comment on a social post, and now I can go up to Teresa. Maybe we're a generation different. I don't really know what we have in common, but she also said Raisin Bran was trash. And I go up to Teresa, and I say, isn't Raisin Bran the worst? Because
right?
I know, I recognize her face. I see her profile picture, and now we're talking. And that might seem so silly, but that's how all relationships begin. You find common ground. Guys get together like, sports, right? And suddenly they can be friends. Like, you got to find some common ground, and posts like these are also great for that.
Well, and like you said, that is meaningful, right? And,
it is.
And that's where sometimes these posts get a little bit of pushback online from certain groups of people saying, oh, well, you know, we can't be posting these things on our church's page. This is too, you know, trivial or frivolous. Yeah, that's how they talk. And it's not. It's all part of life. It's a holistic image of what our lives look like. And it can be meaningful and can lead to meaningful interactions. And who knows where that will lead from there.
If you're wondering how we create these, we've got a team that does that. That's what the social program is for. It's closed right now. But if you're interested, we will be reopening it in the future. You can join the email list, prochurchtools.com, to make sure you don't miss it when it goes live again. In the meantime, this is just part of our strategy that we take when we approach social. We mentioned provoking spiritual practice. We mentioned starting meaningful conversations. That's all part of it. We've got a free resource called the New Social Media Checklist for Churches. It's really the starting point for how we do social the way we do. A lot of people say, this is how you should do it. We say, no, do it this way.
Right.
We think we have the results to back it up. You can download that free resource. It's linked in the show notes. You can also go directly to the URL, checklist.church. And that'll do it for this episode of Pro Church Tools. We'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Before you go anywhere, make sure you subscribe to this channel and go ahead, turn on notifications.
No, this is like. That's what I say. Like the video.
Okay.
Subscribe. I think it's good.